Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Storm coming at you from Team Shadow Strike, and this is going to be another return to the Bluish Flame Liberators. I've seemed to have gotten a lot of requests for the Bluish Flames, and I had someone who who wanted me to review some of the new Gold Paladin stuff coming out. Well, I thought then I made the decision to do another version of this. Now, I think the Bluish Flame deck can still be competitive. I do not think it is considered Tier 1, but it's an underdog deck in my opinion, because this deck, it is very, very consistent as far as being able to get a field. But the problem was if you want to play with it in this current format of Stride, now, is it possible to be successful with it? And the answer to that question is absolutely. However, I do want to talk about a card real quick before I get into the deck profile. There is a card coming out pretty soon, and I think it's going to... Because right now for the G-Zone, I don't have a G-Zone for this yet, because I literally was just going to throw in 4 Harmonics and some Atmoses, but I only have Atmos, and I'm not going to do just that. My playset of Harmonics, I believe, is with my friend Christian. I think I loaned them to him before... since he didn't have any of them, and he was waiting for the Deeply stuff to come out so he could have a G deck, but now that since he does, I believe he has those, but if not, oh well, I can get more Harmonics easily enough. But anyway, there's a card coming out in the Fighters collection, and it's called Golden Dragon Scourge Point Dragon, and that's what it looks like. And it's a card that is really going to help this deck, because his ability is pretty cool. It's, obviously Stride, and he has a real simple ability. When a unit is placed on the rear guard from your deck, this unit receives plus 5,000 until the end of turn. So he'll come out generally at about 26,000 power, and he'll gain 5,000 more power every time you call something. Well, that's what this deck specializes in. So I literally just decided to redo this deck and talk about a couple things, because I really do appreciate the Bluish Flame deck. I do believe I was talking to my friend Ryan yesterday over the phone, and he said that Liberators did get a new card announced for set 3, and he said he believes it looked like a Bluish Flame, and it's a damage and flipper grade 2. So I hope that Bluish Flames get more love. Okay, it depends on how you want to pronounce it. Since his name has now been pronounced in the English, they pronounced it Olivier Gaillet or something like that, because it's French. But Oliver Gaillard or something, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But he has been referenced in Season 5, so it leads me to believe he'll be back eventually, or at least make a cameo in an episode. I hope so, because I really like Gaillard. But anyway, let's get straight into this deck profile. So, obviously, this is a Bluish Flame deck, and you gotta have the gorgeous Prominence Core sleeves. But anyway, the starting Vanguard is Flaming Passion Liberator Guido. Now, we all know what he does. If you're in Legion, shove in the soul, you look at the top 3 and Spirit Call 1. But the reason he's now even more important in this deck is because if you're playing against anything like the Cross, Royal Paladin, Extreme Battlers, the soon-to-be Neo-Nectar and Gear Chronicle, and all the stuff that have Stride support, you can't have your Superior Calls stop, or else the deck will lose very quickly. And also, he's one of the 3 outlets in this deck that I have. There's only 3 other outlets, so there's 4 total. 4 outlets that actually let you shuffle the deck. And he also gets you a free Superior Call for free, which this deck is counterblast heavy, so you really like that he's free. For all these reasons, it's now, I think, imperative that you play 2 of these. So I have one for my starter, and I mainboard another one, because you need your Superior Calls to keep going. You can't just freeze. So I think 2 of these is now needed. If I tried and even considered using Kungl as the starter and then playing 1 Guido. But as much as I love Kungl or Krongl, Chronicle, I don't know. I call him Kungl. as much as I want to play this card, you need the superior call outlets, and he does exactly what Bruno does, only you have to be in Legion. But it's player's choice. I mean, I might crack and try him, just say I tried him, but you really need the superior call outlets. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do, but I think the smart move is to go with two Guidos. For the grade zeros, you still are going to play your 8 crits. You just need to play 8 Liberator criticals. You can play whichever ones you want. I choose to play the ones that came out with the deck, so... And plus, they look like they belong in a Bluish Flame deck. This is the only trigger that is needed. If you were one of those people who wanted to play the draw triggers in the beginning, like I was, this is now a definite must, because you need to be able to keep your superior calls going. And he serves as a wild card, because every now and again you're going to search the top 3 or 4 cards, and there's just no good options. But if he's there, it gives you another go at it. And he also lets you shuffle your deck. He's there for that reason. And then we play our 4 heal triggers. Moving on to grade 1s. Now, obviously on our grade 1, since we play 2 Guidos, we had to cut a grade 1, but we're still going to play our 4 Perfect Guard. You cannot afford to play a Quintet Wall in this deck, guys. I have tried it. I mean, if it works for you and you want to stick with it, I'm not gonna tell you to change it, but it's not the best option, because with the counterblast heaviness this deck has, it could put you in a hole. You still want to play your 4 copies of Bruno, just because having 2 of these on the outside rear guards are just so critical, and if you can get one of these behind Glare and get him up really big, it's very hard for your opponent to stop it with just grade 0s and intercepts. So then we play 3 copies of Josephus. If he's superior called out of the deck, you can Soul Blast a Liberator and draw a card. So pretty good. Now for the last 2 grade 1s, there is something you need to be careful about with this card, is because the last grade 1 is 2 copies of Knife Throwing Knight Maligant. This is the Soul Blast 2 to unflip 2. Now there is only one card in the deck that can superior call this card. And that is Ketchup. Well, his name's Ketchgal, but I call him Ketchup. He lets you look at the top 3 cards and search for a card that is not named himself, and you can superior call him. Every other outlet, your Guidos, your Glare, and both your Aglavales can only superior call Liberators. So this does present a little bit of a problem, but you still need this card because you will counterblast quite frequently. It's very rare that you'll have a turn where you don't counterblast, so that's why you need this card, so you can keep your abilities and your combos going. You just really need this card, in my opinion. Some people ask why I'm not playing Zoran. Zoran is a grade 1 that when he's superior called, you move him to the soul and look at the top 3 and call 1. The reason I don't like it is because you lose him. It's kind of like, oop, grade 1 gone. So I mean, these grade 1s, they just serve a better purpose for me. Now, moving on to grade 2s, some more changes here. The first thing, obviously, you're still going to play your 4 Aglavel that mate with Glare. When you have a Bluish Flame Vanguard, which means when you're on grade 3, he attacks for 11, and when he's superior called from the deck, you may Soul Blast 1, and you may look at the top 5 for a Bluish Flame, in other words, a grade 3. And then we still play our 4 Oath Liberator Aglavel. So this is the thing that did not change. When he's called to the rear guard, you may counterblast 1, look at the top 3, and superior call a Liberator. And then the cards go to the bottom of the deck. This lets you shuffle the deck. You still need to max out on all of this. If you did want to drop 1 Oath Liberator, You could, but I would recommend sticking with 4 just to keep your superior calls going. And then the new Grade 2 now that only a few players played in the Legion format, but now I think the card is needed. And that is History Liberator Marin. Basically what she does when she's called from the deck, you get to look at the top 5 for a Grade 3, which she does exactly the same thing as this Aglavale, Glaire's Aglavale. And she lets you shuffle your deck. So this Aglavale, Guido, and Ketchup are the 4 shuffle outlets you have, because everything else that Superior calls makes you put it on the bottom of the deck. I might even go to 3 of this just because it's crucial in order to get Glaire's skill off. In fact, that's probably the better option, but for right now, I still have the 1 lawful in there. But to be real honest, it would probably behoove you to just go 3 Marins, because this gives you the most ways to search your Grade 3s, because you need them for Glaire's skill. But if you still want to play the 1 lawful, that's fine. But honestly, what I'm probably going to do the second I finish this video is just go ahead and make this a 3rd Marin, because it's going to be more consistent for you that way, because you have plenty of other ways to superior call things. But if you still want to play the 1 lawful, I can definitely see it, because you can just call it. And if you call it to the front row, say if on your first turn you ride a Grade 2 and then you call one of these and you superior call it off the top, I can understand why maybe not putting it in the front row is the best option, because your opponent might kill this. So you can kind of just sit it in the back row, and as long as you're not playing Kagero, you know, you can then get it off the next turn when you Legion for Glaire. But it's totally up to you. And then for the Grade 3s, this didn't really change. We still play our 4 Percival, and we still play our 4 main boss monster. So the only difference here it really is there are people who I saw a couple of variants where people played 2 Percival, 2 Glaire, and 2 Percival, 2 Core, and 4 Glaire, but that is just way too counterblast heavy. I mean, I can understand if you want to do that, because I mean, me personally, I really like Core, but the thing that really screwed us up is they gave them to us both at the same time, so it was kind of like you had to pick one. And now it's impossible to mix them. And even though back then, during the Legion format, I was not a fan of mixing Glaire and Core, because their play style is just different to me. You know, I would not play a Core deck the same way I play a Glaire deck. That's just me. But for the G deck, if you wanted to play this deck competitively, I would get yourself 4 Harmonix Messiahs and 4 Atmos or Blizzas if you've gone to a team league, or you can play the Heat Nail one, but you literally just use the Cray Elementals for now, because that's all you have. But striding in this deck is hard, because you're discarding the cards that you might be discarding the cards that you need to kick off Glaire's skill. Also, the one big change is back during the Legion format, I said that I like to go to Percival first and build a field, and then go to Glaire. The problem with this now is that takes a couple more. That takes about 2 turns of build up. So the best thing to do now is just to go straight to Glaire if possible. So now if I open up with Glaire in my opening hand, I keep it. Because if back in the Legion format, if I opened up with Percival and Glaire, I would put Glaire back and build a field with Percival. But now it's better to just go straight to Glaire. So, anywho, guys. I know I've reviewed this deck now, I think 3 times, but this deck, in my opinion, it is still a very, very good. It's an underdog deck, and I really enjoyed the Bluish Flames, and the fact that some people just chose to forget about them kind of makes me mad. But I hope this deck is still going to get more support in the future. I love the Bluish Flames. I just love their artwork so much. But anyway, guys, in the comment section below, if there's an older deck that you would like me to review that I've done to try and make it more compatible in a Stride format, feel free to suggest that. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video for me. And remember, if there's like I said, if there is a deck profile that I've done in the past that you want me to redo and make it for the Stride format, all you have to do is ask. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you next time.